I've been thinking about narcissism in a broader way, not just as a personality disorder in an individual, but as a kind of consciousness. When you begin to look at narcissistic abuse from this perspective, everything starts to make more sense. It's no longer just about a specific person or relationship, it's about how a particular energy or consciousness creates entire realities around people. These realities, made of words, images, false evidence, and constructed events, become convincing illusions. People caught in them come to believe they're real, simply because they see them with their own eyes and hear them with their own ears. And once they accept that false reality, they begin to act from within it and replicate it. Before we dive in, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you find this content valuable, it really helps support the channel. You're also welcome to leave a comment. While I don't respond, as it keeps me focused on the message I want to share, I do read and appreciate your thoughts and perspectives. Now back to the video. What's striking is how this narcissistic energy moves through people and systems, not just individuals. It can permeate groups, institutions, and even concepts. When you zoom out, you can see how this energy connects people who may never have met. It's why so many survivors of narcissistic abuse say, it's like they all read the same book. The energy moves in the same patterns, with slight variations in intensity from person to person. And it's not limited to people who are identified as narcissists. Sometimes, entire groups are animated by the same energy, functioning in ways that echo the narcissistic blueprint without any one person being solely responsible. This energy can also latch onto those who are not aligned with it. It doesn't need full consent, it can infiltrate through proximity, repetition, or trauma. You may find yourself acting from the energy, even when your conscious intentions are good. This is especially true if you've been in close contact with someone who embodies that narcissistic consciousness. They may only need to interact with you once a week, but during that time they can prime you with this energy, embedding their thoughts, language, and emotional patterns into your psyche. You end up carrying that energy throughout the week without even realizing it. Over time, if you're repeatedly exposed to this energy, you begin to build an internal infrastructure for it. It's as if you develop a dashboard, a kind of machinery inside you, that can be triggered at any time. This makes it easy for other narcissistic people, even ones you've never met before, to pick up on that energy signature in you. They know, often intuitively, how to press the right buttons to trigger a reaction. They can say a few well-placed words and activate the unresolved programming within you, pulling you back into that false reality. This is how people can be manipulated into self-destruction, confusion, or flashbacks without even knowing what's happening to them. Some people, after leaving an abusive environment, return to themselves quickly. Others, however, still carry that built-in receptivity to narcissistic programming even after long periods away. For those people, healing requires deep work. Clearing trauma, shifting belief systems, and learning to recognize when this consciousness is trying to re-enter through external or internal channels. Because once the capacity is there, even a mild exposure can reactivate the whole system. This is why just leaving a narcissist isn't enough. Because the broader environment, what we call the norm, is often infused with what I call buzz narcissism. It's not as overt or intense, but it's still rooted in the same patterns. And without that background level of narcissism in the culture, the more overt narcissists wouldn't be nearly as effective. They rely on the general level of disconnection, manipulation, and distortion already present in society to do their work. Everyone who interacts with the system to some degree internalizes this energy, often as a survival strategy. Even after physical distance, once you're back in a familiar or normal environment, people who carry this narcissistic consciousness can recognize you instantly. It's as if you're marked. They know how to provoke, manipulate, or reprogram you using the exact patterns you thought you left behind. They can trigger emotional flashbacks, confusion, panic, or behaviors that make you appear unstable or aggressive to bystanders. And from there, the same old cycle continues, only with new actors playing familiar roles. Once you see all of this clearly, a different task emerges. It's not just about getting away from a specific person, it's about detoxing from the energy itself. This requires ongoing vigilance and healing, Because the false realities created by narcissistic consciousness don't disappear when the person does. They linger, especially when reinforced by the surrounding culture. That ambient level of everyday narcissism feeds into larger distortions and is often weaponized by more intense narcissists to launch smear campaigns or isolate someone using communal judgment. It's like in The Matrix, where Agent Smith touches someone and transforms them into another version of himself. Narcissistic energy does something similar. It spreads through contact, co-opting people and environments, until a false reality is built around the target. And once you're inside it, it's incredibly difficult to breathe, think clearly, or act freely. Seeing narcissism as a field of consciousness opens up a much deeper understanding of how it operates. You begin to see connections between people, systems, and experiences that once seemed unrelated. Healing, then, becomes less about fixing yourself and more about clearing out what never belonged to you in the first place. It's a return to your humanity, one layer at a time. Thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, I hope this perspective offered you something valuable. Until next time.